Peg Ehlen, a docent at the Evansville Museum of Art, History, and Science. Today, we're going to look at two landscape paintings. What does the word landscape mean to you? Here are the two landscape paintings, Mountains to the North, Autumn Lake George, New York, by Georgia O'Keeffe, and Snowbound by Elizabeth Stouter. In landscape art, you'll find natural scenes, such as trees, mountains, valleys, forests, rivers, usually in a wide, panoramic view. What do you see in these landscapes? Before we look more carefully at the paintings, let's talk about representational art. In representational art, you can identify actual objects from the real world. Sometimes artwork can be quite realistic, almost like a photo. As an experiment, I took an original photo and used filters to create a second, less realistic photo. Is the second photo representational? Well, yes, because you can still identify the trees, lake, and mountains. Which photo do you prefer, the first or the second? Now we'll focus on our first landscape painting, Mountains to the North, Autumn, Lake George, New York, by Georgia O'Keeffe. From the mid to late 1920s, Georgia O'Keeffe spent the summers in Lake George, New York, with her husband, photographer Alfred Stieglitz, while she painted scenes from nature, including the Adirondack Mountains. Later, she moved to New Mexico, the area that inspired many of her famous paintings. Her landscape paintings focus on nature, often create a sense of peace, and never include human beings. As an artist, O'Keeffe was considered a modernist and did not paint objects exactly as they appeared. Look again at Mountains to the North. Do you see mainly straight lines or curvy lines with rounded edges? How did she paint the trees? Would you have painted them this way? Is this a representational painting? Can you identify the objects? I think we can agree that Georgia O'Keeffe painted landscapes in her own modern style. O'Keeffe loved to paint with bold colors. In this painting, she used complementary colors to create contrast, deep blue mountains, and trees ranging from orange to reddish orange. Complementary colors are two colors that are opposite on the color wheel. Touches of white highlight the tips of the dark blue mountains and the clouds. What does a touch of green mean? Can you name some other complementary colors? Here's a hint. Look at the color wheel shown here. Next, we'll look at our second landscape painting, Snowbound, a watercolor by artist Elizabeth Stouter. She graduated as a registered nurse from Indiana University before becoming an artist. When her children were young teenagers, she began to study art seriously. Later in her life, she taught art workshops at the University of Evansville and the Evansville Museum. Look closely at Snowbound. What do you see? Do you see any sharp or jagged angles or straight lines, curved lines? I see a snow-covered mountain and its reflection in a lake. Do you see the three masts of a ship, which may be snowbound heading toward the mountain? What else do you see? In Snowbound, how would you describe the colors? Does this watercolor painting make you feel cool or warm? Notice that blue and taupe colors are cool shades on the color wheel. Taupe is a gray brownish color. The white snow highlights the chilly landscape. What darker colors do you see? Let's compare Snowbound to Mountains to the North. Which one is a watercolor? Which is an oil painting? Which one uses complementary colors? Which one uses mainly cool colors? Which painting has more curves? Which has more straight lines or angles? What do the paintings have in common? Now, it's time to paint your own landscape. Mountains, rivers, trees, valleys, whatever you want. Use mainly curvy lines to create your painting. Somewhere in your painting, use two complementary colors, such as red and green, or purple and yellow, or orange and blue. You can use other colors as well. Share it with us on social media at #EvansvilleMuseum. We would love to see your art.